This is the EWN Podcast Network.
Welcome to Late Boomers, our podcast guide to creating your third act with style, power, and impact. Hi, I'm Kathy Worthington.
And I'm Mary Elkins. Join us as we bring you conversations with successful entrepreneurs, entertainers, and people with vision who are making a difference in the world.
Everyone has a story, and we'll take you along for the ride on each interview, recounting the journey our guests have taken to get where they are, inspiring you to create your own path to success. Let's get started. Hello, I'm Kathy Worthington. Welcome to Late Boomers. Our guest today is Dominique Benedict, owner of the online boutique coffee company called Breakfast at Dominique's, that she founded to honor actors, musicians, authors, and iconic figures of our past. On each package of her coffee brands, she features a photograph and biography of these legends to ensure that their legacy is not forgotten.
And I'm Mary Elkins. Dominique is also a photographer specializing in portraits and live music photography. And she's also the founder and editor of Surreal Music Magazine. She wears a lot of hats, and we're looking forward to hearing more about them. Welcome to Late Boomers, Dominique.
Hi, it is such a pleasure to be here.
Great to have you.
I'm so excited to speak with you both today.
Oh, thank you. To start us off, what inspired you to start a coffee company about Hollywood icons? And also in conjunction with that, tell us a little bit about your background and how it led you to the career path you're on today.
So I was very heavily involved in the music industry, a photographer. I occasionally handled meet and greets and VIP events for different artists when they came through Arkansas or nearby places. I absolutely loved being on the road and traveling and just having the best experiences every single night. And then the pandemic hit. And I don't know how to sit still. So the only solution I really knew how to not go insane when the world was shut down was completely just pour myself into a new project. It was always a joke that coffee was kind of my next career because I completely lived off it on the road. I don't eat anything that fast food restaurants have, or I am a vegetarian. I don't do any of the unhealthy on the road food. So I just grabbed cups of coffee everywhere I went and survived off it.
Oh dear. 0 calories.
But it was fun. It was a great time. And it gave me a lot of experience in business and how to operate in new environments every single day. So I do attribute it to every single good thing I am right now and every talent I have with starting this company on my own, from designing the bags to taking the photographs and marketing and doing everything. My past career in music was a great training ground, if you will. And now I really just wanted to be a part of legacy preservation because when we were all locked in our houses, of course, we were all watching movies. I kind of dove into the classics a little bit heavier. And I realized when I started researching these actors and looking them up, there was really nothing beyond coffee table books or the films themselves to really look at and learn and just kind of immerse yourself in the era. So I started with old Hollywood, though the brand and the goal is to just inspire people. So it's anybody you find inspiration in is kind of where I want this to go.
That's great.
So any suggestions from the public? Not really.
Yeah. So, well, to start us off again, tell us what steps you had to take in order to obtain the rights to use a celebrity's likeness. That must have been a bit of a difficult mountain to climb. And also, is there a different process working with the estates of people who are alive versus no longer alive?
So
If they're alive.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
right.
We know what you mean. Oops.
it was
Go for it.
absolutely a learning curve. I definitely think year one was making all your big mistakes so that way everything after is easy sailing, knock on wood. Um,
Mhm.
the licensing and estate business, if you will, is sometimes so shady. I had
Ooh.
no clue just how greedy it could get from an outside perspective. And I now look at it as I want to work with the families who care, the estates who care if there are no living family members, and just people who genuinely care about the icons. Because you look at all these huge names that are represented by mega corporations, their names are on everything you could think of, from dog socks to water bottles. And while some of the products are cute, a lot of them are cheaply made, poorly done, and just about a cash grab. And I'm not a huge fan of that. I want it to actually be a learning experience if you're going to be representing a historical figure. I want to do good with the products and make sure the people that I'm kind of in business with, if you will, also want to do good. We have an amazing lineup at the moment where every single person on board with us cares and is hands on, and I can call at any moment in time and ask questions about their history or make sure I got some facts right before I publish something online. And it's
Yeah.
Exactly.
very important. I think if you're going to represent historical figures, make sure you actually care about telling their story the proper way rather than just making
Mm.
it grand and calling it a day.
Oh, absolutely. Can you share a story or two about what it's been like to work with the estates of these legends? Any fun, great stories?
So when I started the company or started planning the company, I made a list, of course, of my dream icons, of course, as
Mhm.
anybody would. That's the fun of the project is really getting the people you admire yourself. And Boris Karloff was number 3 on my list.
Aha.
I
Boris
love Frankenstein.
Karloff.
Yes, Frankenstein's monster is just the most iconic, universal character in the world. I absolutely adore the Grinch. So Boris Karloff was he was number 3. And I'm so thankful. Our friend Gary Sweeney, who works with the Joan Crawford estate, was like, I interviewed Sarah Karloff years ago. I don't know, but she may still be at this email. Let me reach out and see if I could put you in touch. And Sarah answered like within a day. I had a phone call with her, and that was just so exciting to me. I was so obsessed. And I wasn't sure if she liked me at first. I'm going to be completely honest because I don't know how to read people. So
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. I was so scared that she hated me. And then I got this thank you note from Sarah, signed by Sarah. I framed it. It's my favorite possession. And I even told Sarah when I met her a couple weeks ago, I was like, I framed the first note you sent me.
I'm sure she was flattered.
So you made a Boris Karloff blend?
Yes,
Love it.
he is right here.
Oh, gorgeous
Much,
picture.
much handsomer than he appeared in some of those crazy movies.
Yeah.
But it's so fun to have the hands-on access with families because Sarah Karloff picked that image. Sarah Karloff picked the kind of coffee based off of what she actually remembered her father drinking and enjoying.
Nice.
She was hands-on in the entire creation. She oversaw what kind of biography I put on the back of the bag to make sure it was the little factoids that she wanted to represent about her father. It is very much about how the family wants their legacy remembered. And so yes, Boris Karloff was very special. He was number 3 on my list. I
What
completely
was
owe
number 1 and 2?
Yeah,
Did you get 1 and 2?
I was going to ask the same thing.
So of course, they're big dreaming. So Audrey Hepburn, because I named my company Breakfast at Dominique's after Breakfast at Tiffany's. So she's on the list. I don't have her yet. I'm not big enough yet, but one day we will be there. And James Dean, who I
Oh,
actually like, he's huge. He's iconic. When you think of old Hollywood, you think of James Dean. And we actually launched with James Dean Coffee. He was amazing, and he's no longer in our lineup. That was a year one thing. It was a 1 year thing, but it was just such a big get and such a big honor, and I am so extremely proud of it. So far from the first three from my very first wish list, I got 2 out of 3. So
absolutely.
I wonder if people are buying the coffee based on which face is on there, which blend
uh,
they're buying.
I've tried to figure that out. And for the most part, yes. I do think people buy based on what names they most have a history with. Um, but I'm trying to get it to where people are just buying based on new releases so that way they learn. That's the learning curve, and the hard part is trying to figure out how to get people to expand their interest into
Yeah.
buying new
I wanted
pieces.
to ask you what you need to learn about running a boutique online business and how do you compete with large scale coffee companies?
I don't even try. Competition is
Yeah.
not a thing to me. I don't really care. And that seems silly, but I still enjoy other coffee companies. I don't see a competition thing because we're an education project.
Oh,
We're very specialty coffee. We are not Folgers in a bag and repackaged. No. I fully sourced the best specialty roaster in the United States as far as I'm concerned. I tried many different ones and blind tested tons and accidentally landed on the only woman owned roastery in the bunch. So I'm very excited that I blind landed on a woman owned roastery just because
Yeah.
you,
Wow.
I'm certain you ladies know just how hard it is to be a woman in business. You're not seen
hmm
as an equal. You're not treated as an equal. And it's definitely
No.
harder to gain access to loans and investors and all the things. So I
Oh,
was very, very proud to accidentally just stumble upon a woman owned roastery and convince her to work with me. She had plenty on her plate at the time and still does, and she's still generous enough to grace us with her time and her expertise and her coffee.
Well, how
so
difficult
exciting.
is it to learn online business versus regular retail, uh, in-store business?
I feel like it's probably I don't want to say easier because there's different challenges with each one. Like I don't have to learn about what goes into maintaining fire safety codes for a brick and mortar, so I'm thankful for that. But
Yeah.
I have to keep up with each state and what their different rules are as far as taxes and sales and shipping. And I'm like, there's different things like that, but I don't feel like it's much different. I think it's much more accessible to be an online business at the moment, and we purposely structured our company as an e-commerce because the pandemic was when I created it and started
Mhm.
brainstorming everything. And I was like, well, you're not able to leave your house. You're still gonna need coffee, so why not have us
Uh-huh.
deliver it to you? So I would say it's more accessible, honestly, than a brick and mortar. And
Mhm.
a little bit of a lighter load on my shoulders because I'm certain handling a full retail store would be just stressful to the max.
You can
Yeah.
reach more people this way. This is great.
I
Yeah.
think so. I'm proud of it.
Yeah, well, you've created quite a wonderful piece of a legacy for yourself and for these people, and also for your own generation to bring them up to who these icons are. And on that note, since you've recreated coffee blends for the likes of these people, how many blends do you actually offer now? And tell us what's coming up. And one more question. how you pair your coffee blends to your icons. How do you do that and decide on the names of the blends?
So we currently have 11 different icons at the moment. It's getting to be a family, a full family.
Huh?
Um,
That's a
we
lot of choice.
we've got everybody from Betty Davis to Joan Crawford, so and Ella Fitzgerald right in between. We've got everything you could want, with more to come. Mamie Van Doren is our next release, who is alive, and she is 93. She just had a birthday last week, and it is so incredibly awesome to be able to work with someone who's alive and able to tell me exactly what she wants and how she wants to be remembered, and give me stories and anecdotes and how she enjoys her coffee in her own life. She's fascinating. She has
How did
gone
you track her down?
the same way I got in touch with Sarah Karloff, Gary Sweeney, who I need to just like give him props because he interviewed old Hollywood icons for years back in the 2000s, back in like 2006, and he just kept in contact with all of these people, and he's a
Wow,
thesaurus for old
good for
Hollywood.
him.
So he put me in touch with Mamie. He's like, there's this young girl. She's really trying to build this company into something that is well done and not a huge cash grab. And I think you should talk to her. And Mamie was so gracious enough to hop on a call with me. And she's an absolute riot. The first time I spoke with her, she gave me a story about Pamela Anderson and her. And I was like, I mean, I'm young enough, like, Pamela Anderson was an icon to me because Home Improvement was on when I was growing up. So I was like, wow, I was mind blown.
Well, that's
Well,
And
fun.
can
That's
you
now,
tell
fun.
us that story?
she had a photo shoot for Vanity Fair in 2008, I want to say. I'd have to confirm the year, and she and Pamela had this little bombshell versus bombshell, old Hollywood versus new Hollywood photo shoot, and it was
Ah,
just iconic image that I wish I could track down a print of. But she's like, Pamela drank a whole bottle of champagne and we knocked that photo shoot out, and I was like, oh my god, I love behind the scenes.
oh yeah.
She's just so awesome. She goes through like 5 bags of coffee herself a month. Like, she drinks coffee like crazy. The blends that we've chosen for her are based on what she actually has tried from every option available, and she's like, these are perfect for me. I drink them every day. They're what's keeping me alive right now.
I was going
That's
to
so
ask that. She's
exciting.
93. Maybe that's a secret.
She drinks a lot of coffee. She brews it in the afternoon, in the evenings.
Wow.
I can't even keep up with her. She's drinking a lot of coffee.
What
That's a
what kind
lot of
of blend did you
caffeine.
choose for her? What did you create for her?
Her blends, she gets 2 blends because she's alive and she can have whatever she asks for. Um, she's doing a chocolate covered raspberry. So it's a nice little raspberry coffee with a hint of chocolate. Just it's an absolutely perfect coffee for spring. And then her second one is a hot chocolate flavor. So it's a nice little chocolate medium roast that's just perfect for anyone who wants a little touch of dessert with their coffee.
A woman after my
Wow.
heart.
But she's having it all day long.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. So she's drinking coffee with her own picture on it, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
So we are very proud to work with Mamie. It's a very exciting one. Our last release was the iconic Betty Davis. So honestly, you can't really get any bigger than Betty Davis, and then to follow that up with a living icon is pretty amazing.
And who do you think is coming next?
So I do know who's coming next, and not many people are as invested in silent cinema as I am. because I think it's an art form that's going to be lost if nobody talks about it. And we're getting to the point where everyone who is a fan of silent cinema is slowly no longer with us. So I'm very invested in helping in the silent cinema community. And so we have a tribute to a silent icon coming next. Well, she might not be next. There might be someone in between, but this is who's confirmed, slated, and already packaging is done. So she's a silent icon. She's not announced yet, but she will be soon. And she's
you can't tell us a scoop?
she passed away very young, I can tell you that. And she had a very, very sad but interesting life. And it's time for people to start talking about her and telling it well. And I'm very excited to be of assistance to her historian. We have her historian is completely on board with it, and the family is no longer with us, no living family, but he kind of entrusted this historian to her belongings and kind of her story. And so we're working together and gonna make it really well told.
Do you have a time frame of maybe when you're going to debut that?
It's going to be this late spring. So probably a little after like April, May.
It sounds like a lot of your job is research.
Yes.
You have to figure out who you're going to use, figure out who it would be nice to enhance their legacy, so to speak, and then you have to go find who's doing it.
Absolutely.
Find the people in charge.
It's hard. The way it's all set up is you really don't know who represents an estate, because it really doesn't matter what you put in a will. Sometimes, occasionally, because sometimes the estates go into the hands of the wrong people. One example would be, I don't know if you're familiar, but I just learned myself about the Vampira story. Vampira's estate. Are you familiar?
She's a vampire, isn't she?
She's passed away, but she has living family. She has a niece, Sandra, and her estate was actually taken away from the family and passed along to a man that Vampira, according to the niece, that Vampira did not like. And it's sometimes it can be very difficult and sad. So that's another thing to research and look into, is who's representing this person and if they're supposed to be. Or if it's some weird sort of backdoor deal. I can't understand how that happened. It's a sad case because she's a really interesting figure. But they're like everybody, like especially with these silent icons, it's been so long since their heyday, and image rights weren't a thing when they even passed away. Someone like Clara Bow, I don't know who represents her estate, but she's of course iconic and would just be amazing.
That's who came to my mind when you started talking about the silence. Yeah.
She's everybody's poster girl for silent cinema, but I don't know, like it's so hard to find who represents estates, and it's kind of just asking around till you hit the right person.
Yeah.
Some of it's online, surely, but
sometimes.
But yeah.
And IMDb has some, I think.
Oh, that's good to know.
Internet Movie Database, yeah.
I need to get into that IMDb Pro. I haven't yet.
You need the Pro.
So far, it's just been like researching, asking around, and just making friends with the right people.
Sounds like you're doing that already.
Yeah, we understand that all your coffee is fair trade organic coffee. And you mentioned the woman roastery. So what sources do you use? Where are the beans coming from?
She handles
She does it.
So the way that she does it though is really like, she makes sure her and her daughter is actually her second in command. It's a family run thing, but they will physically fly to different countries and sample coffees and meet the people farming these coffees and support the local communities. They they're just amazing. They blow my mind the more I learn about them. But they make sure everybody they support is just quality. And that's what's important to me. I don't care that I pay a higher price for my coffee because it's supporting the right people. It's quality. And quality is the most important thing, especially right now where it's so hard to find quality anything.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great to hear you say that.
Yeah.
I'm impressed with
Obsolescence
that.
is certainly put into every product out there. And, but coffee is, I guess you drink it and it's gone. There's more out there. But quality is so important, and the consumer knows it. They know when they taste it. So let's pivot some here. You've been on concert tours as a photographer with musicians around the country who come from around the country. Can you talk about what that experience is like? And do you have any fun stories about some of the musicians that you can talk about?
There are a lot of NDAs. So,
Oh,
but
yeah.
my longest running kind of job was with a country artist. His name is Charlie, and I basically became a Jill of all trades for him. I started as content creator where I just took his photographs and made sure he looked good on stage every night. And then it kind of morphed into I handled his meet and greets because apparently I'm the one who gets things done. And then it morphed into me managing his merchandise and making sure he gets the right products and selling it at the shows and just being there for everything, to handling money, to all of the things. So I really was his mother, basically, his road mother.
Oh, wow.
And he won't mind me saying that. He would say, yeah, you were. And I was with him from 2019, January of 2019, late 2018, all the way until October after the pandemic hit. And I still occasionally do some work for him, but not full time anymore like I was. Other people, I've photographed Bon Jovi, which was just amazing to me as somebody who loves the classics. And so that was pretty much a highlight of photographing anybody in the world. Bon Jovi was a highlight. I got to meet Reba McEntire, which was amazing. And that was an accident. I literally ran into her, like face to face, bumped into her. And she's just like, well, hi there. And I was just like, hi there. We're two really short redheads with Southern accents. You really can't miss either of us.
That's funny. I love Reba. She's wonderful. I've met her a few times. I love her.
Yeah.
I love her. Those two were highlights for me in any situation. But I've worked shows for artists like the Eagles and Metallica and Justin Timberlake and Chris Stapleton and all kinds of different artists, and they all blur together, but Reba can stand out in any crowd.
Yeah, that's true. She
And
really does.
they're all
Just a
future
huge...
icons for your coffee.
If Reba was ever on board, I would die.
I'll ask her. I bet she would be on board.
I don't have a way to contact her. This was a couple
Just
years
look up her
ago.
management. Call her management company.
Oh,
they're probably based in Nashville, if I had to guess, but they might be in Los Angeles. But call a management company.
Yeah,
I might.
Find management.
That's a good idea.
That's how everybody gets to any artist. My husband used to manage artists, and
I love Reba. Who did your husband manage?
He managed Kenny Rogers and Travis Tritt and Trisha Yearwood and the Bee Gees and Lionel Richie. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Iconic.
Yeah. So, yeah. Very.
I love the early Bee Gees. Like, you honestly think of disco when you think of them, but no.
Yeah, I love that stuff too, but he had them later in their career. He had them briefly. Like, he had Kenny Rogers for 34 years, and he had Lionel for Lionel's whole beginning of his solo career. So that, I don't know how many years that was, but it was quite a few.
That's amazing. Your husband sounds awesome.
He was.
He was. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, you write, you edit, you photograph for your magazine, Surreal Music. Do you need a different mindset to run the magazine versus an online coffee company? Of course you do.
I ran that magazine for 4 years, I believe. I recently closed it because it became too much.
Mhm.
I firmly believe you can't be all in on something and have 20 different projects in the background. I have to be all in on something when I'm in on it. So coffee is currently 5 days a week I dedicate to coffee. 2 days a week I dedicate to photography. I kind of put a fine line there. Just because
Mhm.
I cannot be immersed in the history of coffee and then go interview 5 different people at a time and just be focused on both and good at both. And
Yeah.
Right.
quality, again, is important. And the quality of work shows when you're scatterbrained or when you're focused intently on something. So I did
That's
recently
true.
close it. I can still I'll still help out occasionally wherever I'm needed. I like to say I'm always available whenever it is necessary to be. But there were some time issues that kind of made me say, okay, I got to be all in on coffee.
Oh, I get it. That's a
It's
very wise choice.
absolutely, and it's certainly showing a profitable time for you. Um,
I so
yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Um, Back to coffee and breakfast at Dominique's. We understand that you support a number of charities, so tell us about that.
I like to make sure each icon, when I speak with them and kind of make plans for coffee, I like to check and find out what causes they cared about and if there are any charities that their trust or foundation already supports, and kind of how we're going to make sure every coffee does good. For someone like, for example, Joan Crawford, we have the Unchained blend, which it is very, very well documented just how much Joan Crawford loves dogs. She always had multiple dogs. And we did our research. We met with this amazing, amazing owner of a dog rescue. Her name is Kat, ironically. I love that about her. She manages and runs and founded Hounds and Pounds, which is a dog rescue that takes on the most severe cases. When people don't know what to do about like a severe case, they call Hounds and Pounds. They take on dogs that have been just brutally just assaulted, and it's horrible and it's so
Oh,
sad. They
Huh.
do this amazing work. They're foster based, so there's no cages and horrible just kind of environments. They really really run a tight ship on everybody to make sure the dogs are getting the best care possible, because the dog rescue business, if you will, is really, it can be shady like any business.
Oh,
Uh,
yes, I know
yeah.
that.
so some of them that claim they're 100% nonprofit, that's a lie. So we really, really, really wanted to make sure we're doing good. And Hounds and Pounds is someone who is 100% nonprofit. They support dogs. They're for the dogs. Just it's incredible. Other foundations we kind of support are Healthy Humor, which is an arts organization where they send entertainers and clowns and all the good things to children's hospitals for, just to kind of brighten the mood for children going through a really rough time. Um, they're they continuously impress me, and I'm so proud to support them through our Bozo the Clown coffee.
Oh, that's
Oh,
great.
you have a Bozo the Clown?
Yes.
So you don't do just known people, because he is a character, of course, that somebody's playing Bozo the
I
Clown.
love Bozo. Bozo is fun, laughter, light, and love, and you can't frown when Bozo's around. So I boldly messaged the Bozo the Clown Instagram and said, "Hey, I absolutely love Bozo, and I would love to do anything with him." No, I don't even think I said that. I think I said I absolutely love Bozo. Thanks for being there for the Dreamers or something like that. Just a thank you note. And David Arquette, the actor, is the new manager of the Bozo the Clown estate. And he messaged
Oh,
me and he's like, "I got your message." I was like, "What?" He's like, what? You represent amazing icons. Let's see if we can put something together and do something. And I was so in shock, but where we got it together, Bozo the Clown coffee is here. It's called the Big Top Blend. Supports
Oh,
healthy
that's
humans.
great.
We absolutely love it. It's a caramel corn flavored coffee, which is so super fun, and it fits the absolute funhouse vibe that is Bozo.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so it's out. It came out last summer, and it's just it's a fun bag. It's colorful, bright. It's got Bozo. You really can't ask for anything more if you're a fan of the arts of circus and performance and Bozo the Clown.
Oh, yeah.
But how do you come up with like a caramel corn or a chocolate coffee? How do you come up with that with the bean? Is it something you add, or is it just what the bean is?
So there are flavoring. You can get different flavors and kind of create your own combinations. My roaster specifically uses the most natural flavoring available on the market. So we are a little more limited in what we can do. Some coffee companies do insane things like cotton candy and birthday sprinkles and all the things. So basically we are a little more limited on what we can do, but we just get creative. We work with what natural flavorings are available, and we just try things. That's all you can do, is you can try things, see what works, what doesn't, and create magic. So yes, we came up with caramel corn, the absolute most unique coffee I could come up with. And I was like, well, this has to be something just fun and circusy and just happy.
Yeah.
There's
Right.
a saltiness to it. It's all the caramel goodness you get out of caramel corn. It's savory, sweet, and fun.
That
Great.
sounds great, Dominique. What would you like our audience today to have as a takeaway?
Just learn something new and find what inspires you and go create your own magic. That's the entire goal here. Beyond the legacy preservation is just learn and discover and create. And you don't have to live in a corporate America where you're in an office job that you hate every day. Do the weird things that come to mind, and don't really take no for an answer.
I love your
I
love
love
your
that
advice.
too.
It's
Yeah.
so wise.
So
You're very, very wise for someone so young.
yes, you are. Yeah,
Really, really great.
And I hope that all of your generation takes after you.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I never want to be unhappy in work.
Yeah.
Good advice. Thank you, Dominique. You're terrific. Our guest today on Late Boomers has been Dominique Benedict. She's the owner and founder of the online boutique coffee company, Breakfast at Dominique's, concert photographer, and founder and editor of Surreal Music magazine. You can find Dominique at Breakfast at Dominique's on Instagram and on all other social media platforms, and at hollywoodblends.com, where you can learn more about her story and her coffees and the story of her legends that she features, and also where you can buy her coffee. Thank you, Dominique.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. We want to thank our listening audience and remind you all that we are on YouTube on our Late Boomers podcast channel. And also, please subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and give us a 5-star review. We're grateful to our audience. Please follow us on Instagram at I am Kathy Worthington and at I am Mary Elkins and at Late Boomers. We hope we can inspire, motivate, and entertain you. And we'll see you again next time. Thanks again, Dominique.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you for joining us on Late Boomers, the podcast that is your guide to creating a third act with style, power, and impact. Please visit our website and get in touch with us at lateboomers.biz. If you would like to listen to or download other episodes of Late Boomers, go to ewnpodcastnetwork.com.
This podcast is also available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and most other major podcast sites. We hope you make use of the wisdom you've gained here and that you enjoy a successful third act with your own style, power, and impact.